Global War 36 enthusiast here with Operation Regimental Combat Team, turn 3.5, Commonwealth. My production chart and tech tree are not updated. I don't think Japan has put out its turn yet, or if it has, I haven't seen it. So I don't have everything updated, but these are some of the changes. Commonwealth has, it is July 1937. Commonwealth has 2 tech rolls. First, I tried for radar at a 7 or higher. PB generated a 10, so I succeeded. I advanced to stage 1. Second, I tried for anti-submarine warfare at a 7 or higher. PBE generated a 2, so I failed. Let's go to purchases. Great Britain has 14 IPP to spend. I will purchase 2 infantry for 6 and 2 anti-aircraft artillery for 8. That's 14. FEC has 9 IPP to spend. I will purchase 1 infantry for 3 and begin construction of a fortification in Calcutta for 5. I will save, that's 8, so I'll save 1. Anzac has 3 IPP to spend. I'll purchase 1 militia upgrade to an infantry for 2 and then save 1 IPP. Previewing the French, they have 13 IPP to spend. I will purchase 2 militia for 4. I'll lend lease 1 anti-aircraft artillery to KMT for 4, so that's 8, and then I'll save 5. Combat movement, I did contact Hambone about potential combat moves again here in the Mediterranean and through these subs in A44 and A28, and Hambone declined to declare war. So from Gibraltar, let's start down here in Gibraltar. 1 naval transport will leave port to A44 and then move up to A21 and go in port in southern England. And then from southern England, that naval transport that's there will leave port carrying 1 anti-aircraft artillery, and it will go down to A44 and go in port in Gibraltar, dropping off the anti-aircraft artillery here in Gibraltar. So the switcheroo down there. Then from Gibraltar, the other naval transport will leave port to M2 carrying the mountain infantry, and it will move over to Sea Zone M8 and drop off the mountain infantry in Lower Egypt. Oh, I'm sorry, it won't go to M8. It'll go 1, 2, 3 to I5 and drop off the mountain infantry and then go in port in the southern part of Lower Egypt there. Okay, from M8, 1 battleship will move over to M2 and go in port in Gibraltar. From Gibraltar, 1 heavy cruiser will leave port to M2 and it will go over to M8. So basically I swapped the battleship and a heavy cruiser. From Sea Zone M8, 1 destroyer will go to A44. Okay, so I think that's everything that's moving through anything that has potential combat. From Ottawa, the air transport will pick up that infantry and fly them down here to Gibraltar. Okay. From London, I'm going to have the infantry and anti-aircraft artillery that I built last turn will move over to southern England. Down here in, let's see, A4. Let's go all the way, I4, all the way over here to Sea Zone I4, where I have the Anzac light cruiser and destroyer, and they will just move up to M8. Over in southern India, I'm going to have the infantry and anti-aircraft artillery will move up to Calcutta. I used Randall's awesome idea of using decals and turned my task force marker into kind of a custom FEC task force marker. So tip of the hat to Sarge's Shellhole for that idea. Let's see. I forgot this move. This naval transport here in I7 is going to go all the way down to I1. You know the drill. It'll go in port in South Africa. Feel like I skipped something. Nope. And then I've got from I12, the coastal sub will move over to I7. From Calcutta, the Anzac naval transport will leave port to I12 and strategic naval move, it'll leave port to I11. Strategic naval move 5 spaces, 1 to I12, 1 to I13, 1 to 3 to P61, 4 to 69, and 5 to P70, and then go in port in South Australia. Okay, so that, and then the last move that the Commonwealth has is the artillery will strategic rail move to South Australia. I'm just going to real quick duck over there what that is. I worry about turning my camera sideways because I think that's what created the problem and made my last video kind of right side up. So I'm going to upgrade one militia to an infantry in South Australia. So I'll have 1 infantry, 1 artillery, and a naval transport in port. In Sydney, I just have the motorized. In North and South Island, I have the militia. And I'll collect income with Anzac. They are at 5. They saved 1, so they have 6 for next turn. Okay, FEC is, let's move that over so we can put that on camera. I'm going to get 1 more FEC infantry. And I'm going to begin construction of the fortification there in Calcutta. And FEC is at 7. I saved 1, so I will have 8 for next turn. Okay, and then down in, well, let's just do disposition. We already did Anzac. So in Hong Kong, there's an infantry. In Sarawak, there's a militia. British Malaya, a militia. Ceylon, a militia. C-Zone, I-7. A coastal sub. Delhi, a militia. Calcutta has a fortification under construction. And 1 British infantry, 5 FEC infantry, 1 Anzac infantry, 1 Gurkha, 1 Anzac artillery, 1 British, no, is that a FEC? Yeah, 1 British anti-aircraft artillery. All right, and then real briefly down in Cape Town, I'm just off camera, I'm going to add an anti-aircraft artillery. So Cape Town has an infantry and an anti-aircraft artillery. South Africa has a militia, and in port is a naval transport. I'll do the rest of my disposition later. Great Britain still has 2 infantry and an anti-aircraft artillery to place. So let's get that on camera in London. London will get 2 infantry and an anti-aircraft artillery. All right, and then Great Britain is at 16. I didn't save anything, so they'll have 16 for next turn. Now we will begin Free France's turn. I have 1 tech roll with Free France for advanced mechanized infantry. PBE generated a 2, so I failed. I have 13 IPP. We talked about the 2 militia and a Lend-Lease to anti-aircraft artillery, so there's 5 saved. I don't have any combat movement, non-combat movement. From Picardy, 1 infantry will move to Paris. From Normandy, 1 infantry moves to Aquitaine. From Paris, 1 infantry moves to Aquitaine. From Alsace-Lorraine, 3 infantry move to Paris. Let's just get out a green chip here. Well, actually, that's 3, plus there's 2 already there. So that comes out to a 6. I said there's 2 there. There's 5 there. I meant there's 2 chips there. So 6 infantry in Paris, along with 3 militia. All right. From southern France, 1 infantry will move to Aquitaine. Okay, from C-Zone M2, this naval transport will pick up the infantry and the Foreign Legion, move up to M1, and drop them off in southern France. From C-Zone M9, this naval transport will pick up the infantry from Syria and strategic naval move 1 to M8, 2 to M4, 3 to M2, 5 to M1, and drop off that infantry in southern France. From C-Zone M8, the submarine will join the submarine conclave in I-5. All right, I'll place 2 militia in Aquitaine, bringing me up to 3 militia and an anti-aircraft, or artillery, just a plain artillery. All right, let's talk about the travel of this French Lend-Lease. The anti-aircraft artillery is built in Paris, then it travels down to southern France and embarks at that major shipyard there. Then it travels 5 spaces. The counting will change in version 4.3. So the current counting is 1 for this space, 2 for M2, 3 for M4, 4 for M8, 5 for M9, and refreshes at this port here. The 4.3 counting will be 0 to just kind of leave port to this C zone. You won't count the C zone you start at. 1 to M2, 2 to M4, 3 to M8, 4 to M9, but you'll only have a range of 4 with major naval facilities. The net effect is the same. It's just whatever is easiest for you mentally to count. Then from M9, 1, 2, 3 to I5, 4 to I4, 5 to I3, refresh at Madagascar. Then from Madagascar, 1, 2, 3 to I7, 4 to I12, 5 to I50, P50, refresh at Cochin, China, and then one more space up here to drop off the anti-aircraft artillery in Kwangtung. All right, let's collect income. France is sitting right at 10 and I saved 5, so France will have 15 for next turn. Let's do disposition. Over here, just added that anti-aircraft artillery. In C zone I5, 4 French subs. In Lower Egypt, 1 militia, 1 infantry, 1 mountain infantry, and a naval transport in port. In Western Egypt, 1 militia. I already said off camera that Cape Town has an infantry and an anti-aircraft artillery. South Africa has a militia and a naval transport. In C zone M8, 2 light carriers, 1 with a fighter, 1 with a tactical, 3 heavy cruisers, 1 light cruiser, 5 destroyers, 1 Anzac light cruiser, 1 Anzac destroyer. In Malta, 1 militia. In Gibraltar, militia, 2 infantry, air transport, anti-aircraft artillery. In port, a battleship, 2 heavy cruisers, a light cruiser, and a naval transport. In C zone A44, British destroyer, 2 French destroyers, 1 French torpedo boat destroyer. In C zone A46, 1 French destroyer. In C zone A48, 1 French light cruiser. In C zone M1, 2 naval transports. In southern France, 2 infantry, 1 Foreign Legion. In Aquitaine, 3 infantry, 2 motorized infantry. In Paris, 3 militia, 6 infantry, a fighter, and a medium bomber. In Aquitaine, 3 militia, 1 artillery. In C zone A21, 2 French battleships, 2 submarines. This task force, which is 2 battleships, 1 battle cruiser, 1 coastal defense ship, 2 destroyers, 2 torpedo boat destroyers. In southern England, 2 militia, 1 infantry, 1 anti-aircraft artillery, 1 fighter, 1 medium bomber, 1 seaplane. In northern England, 1 militia. In London, 2 infantry and an anti-aircraft artillery. Next up is Hambone with Italy 3.7.